Okay. Mario thinks 2 is linear. All right. What does everybody else think? What does everybody? 3? Oh, we think 3 is linear. Okay. All right. Lots of table 3 being linear. All right. Which one do we? If that one's the linear one, then, and I haven't heard from everybody's guess yet. Which one do you think is quadratic out of the 2 that are left? Nadaline thinks 2 is quadratic. Okay. Lots of 2s for quadratic. All right, so let's actually figure out how, okay? Because I'm not hearing from everybody, so I'm assuming we need some help on this one, okay? So here's how I would approach a problem like this, okay? I know that linear is x. It could just be x. It could be x plus something or x minus something or 2 times x or 1/2 times x, something like that. But something that's going to create a line with a slope. Exponential is going to be a number to a power, right? To an x power, all right? And quadratic is going to be x squared. So if I see square numbers, I know I am quadratic. Look at this one right here, right? Those are most definitely square numbers. Now, they could be tricky and do x squared plus something, right? Or x squared minus something. But if I saw a list of square numbers, I absolutely know that's quadratic. So this one has to be the quadratic one. Okay. Remember, exponential grows really fast. An exponential graph looks like that, right? So which set of numbers is growing really super fast? It's growing rapidly. Which set of numbers is where it's the y value growing rapidly? Can you guys tell me which table in the chat? You guys can just answer out loud that are here in class. Okay, good. All right, definitely 1 is growing exponentially. So that one's got to be exponentially. Exponential, okay? And then table 3 is probably our line. I don't know. I'm looking at the pattern and I'm noticing that I increase by 3. When you increase by 3 like that, isn't that better known as the slope equals 3? So this is the one that would have to be linear. So when you have a constant increase that's the same or a constant decrease that's the same, you're likely in a linear, okay, in a linear mode. That was the most missed question in the fall. All right, so can we do that one? Most of us didn't even see it. We didn't get that far. But I think only like one person I got it right. So, but I think that we're way beyond where we were when we took this test in the fall. What I'm worried about is you not remembering some of the geometry. So I'm hoping we still know what a reflection and a translation, and I can't remember what's the other one. Reflection, translation, rotation are, okay? I think there's a reflection or something on it. I didn't do one of those. I tried to pick on the algebra. All right, so we are supposed to factor this. Okay, so I'm going to give you a minute. Everybody factor it. I know you all know how to do it. Okay, I know you all know how to do that. Don't put anything in the chat yet. Just factor it on your paper. Factor it on your paper. Okay, type the 2 factors in the 2 binomials. Type them in the chat for me, please. Okay, so we have different interpretations of what I asked you to do, okay, which is okay. We're coming up with the correct answers, sort of, okay? But you aren't answering the right question, some of us, okay? But that's all right. That's why we're doing this, is to make sure we understand. If you had multiple choice in front of you, you would totally get it, right? So when we're looking for factors, first of all, let's double check our magic X. two numbers that multiply to negative 28 and add to 3. I'm seeing 7 and negative, no, I need negative 7, positive 4, right? Which would mean when I factor this, I get x minus 7 times x plus 4. Is it equal to 0? Is it set equal to 0 right now? Yes or no?
No.
Okay, it's not equal to 0. So some of our brains are going to grow because we went too far. Okay. So this is where you stop when they're asking you to factor. Okay. If it said solve, so if it said solve, and you had the x squared minus 3x minus 28 equals 0, that's where you do your zero product property, and you get x equal to 7 and x equal to negative 4. Do we see the difference? Okay. So factor means just the binomial times the binomial. Solve means get it down to x equals. Okay. Their favorite thing to do on these, and in fact, it's one of my favorite things to do when I ask these kind of questions, is to ask for one of the factors. Because if I gave you both factors, couldn't you just FOIL them and get the answer? You don't have to actually factor it. So they might ask for only one factor. So you might only see one of your factors in the answer choices. Okay. All right. Here's going way back. I'm not sure if you ever did you guys do any probability in geometry last year? Do you remember doing any probability? Or did we do any? Okay, we did some. Okay. All right.
My question is, what do they mean draw a tile?
What?
What do they mean draw a tile?
Have you ever played Scrabble? You've got a bag.
I thought they meant like stone tiles like you use for floor.
No, like a tile with a letter on it, like Scrabble. Okay. All right, so a tile will be drawn from a bag containing 40 tiles numbered 1 through 40. So it's like a little tiny piece of wood, right? All right. Each tile is equally likely to be drawn. What is the probability that the number on the tile drawn will be even or less than 5? Okay, so how many total tiles are in the bag, everybody? Good, Tom. Samantha.
40.
How many total tiles in the bag? So this is going way back, right? And I'm hoping I have the right answer to this one. I think I do. Okay. We've got 40 total tiles in the bag. How many of them are even? How many of them are even? How many of them are even? Help me out in the chat. I want to see everybody. That way I know you're paying attention. Okay. We've got 20 of them are even. I'm pretty sure we're supposed to add here. Okay, so either we've got the even ones, right? Or we have the ones that are less than 5. How many of them are actually less than 5?
4, but since we already counted for evens in the last step, too.
We might have to do the overlap, right? Or less than 5. Okay. That's where I was making my mistake. So there's 4 of them that are less than 5, right? So we've got 4 out of 40 are less than 5. So we've got, and we know that those would be 1, 2, 3, and 4. So the problem is that we've counted some of them twice, right? Didn't we count the 2 and the 4 and the evens? So we got to get rid of those 2. So minus 2 out of 40. So that way we don't have any overlap, okay? So this was the less than 4. And this is the ones that are both. All right, let's do the arithmetic and see if we can get our arithmetic right. So 20 plus 4 is 24, minus 2 is 22 out of 40. So I think it's just 11 out of 20 if we reduced it, right? Okay. I'm hoping I'm right on that. I'm going to go and check with Mrs. Rondeau and make sure, okay? Not right now, but when we're done, I will go double check. So it's been a few years since I used to like teaching the probability. It used to be part of Algebra 2, but they moved it to geometry. So I don't get to teach it anymore. So she gets to pull out all the fun stuff. All right. Actually, no, she doesn't. Calculus is way more fun than probability. All right. The only class I hate, math classes I absolutely hated with a passion in college was my statistics class. And Probability kind of went with that, because when you get to college and you take it in college, there's statistics in the probability. It's not fun. All right, check this one out. These are actually in order of like most missed. That's why how I picked them. Should we miss item 4 anymore? Is there any reason for us to miss item 4? Haven't we done that one now a lot, right? What happens when the base, or actually, first of all, what's the exponent on this 5 right here? What's the exponent on that 5? Yeah, the exponent's 1. So if the bases are the same, because I've got the bases the same, what do we do? What do we do? If the bases are the same, what do we do? I want to hear from more than one person. Okay, I want to set what equal. You got to be specific, or we can use our kind of shortcut word. Oh, there we go. Okay, so we have to either set the exponents equal. We would say, hey, our shortcut word is we're going to cancel the bases, right? That's not really what we're doing. We're applying the one-to-one property. So don't go to college when you don't have Mrs. Ballard anymore and say, Mrs. Ballard said just cancel them. That's not right. All right, so I'm going to subtract the 4, which gives me -3. And x would be, I'm going to divide by the 3, so I get -1. I don't want to see you guys miss that one. Okay, I want you to get to that one, and I want you to actually do it. Okay, because it's not worth losing the points. That's technically like our algebra 2 level stuff. Okay. Did I tell you that the MDTP results from the fall say that like 90% of our students don't know algebra? And I know that's not you guys. Okay, so we don't want that number on us, right? So we're gonna try our best. I don't want you don't have to stress about studying, but I want you to try your best, okay? And try to get through the majority of the test for me too, okay? All right, this one looks weird, but it's not gonna be as weird as you think. We're gonna just solve this in terms of the variables C and D, okay? So let's pretend the variables C and D are constants or numbers, all right, and I want to get x by itself. What would I move first? So what would I move to the right side first? What do you guys think? Okay, we absolutely would move D. We would subtract D from both sides, right? So we get Cx equals -D. Okay, what am I going to do to move C over now? So how am I going to move C over? Excellent. We're going to divide. So we've got x equals -D over C. And that's it. That's the answer. Okay. So it's going to be, it looks like it's all variables, right? Okay. It totally made sense to me why you didn't get item 6 right. Okay. Or why you maybe said you'd never seen it, because you had never seen it at the beginning of the school year. We don't do rationals until this class. But as far as rationals go, I'm like, I would be jumping for joy if we saw that as the rational, because we don't have to factor. The common denominator looks pretty easy, right? What would my common denominator be here? What do you guys think? Remember, this is the thing we circled in blue, we underlined in red. So what would I use for my common denominator? What do you guys think? Oh, we need a refresher. Okay, so remember when we circle in blue, we write it one time, right? And then we have to write everything else we underlined in red. So our denominator is actually 3x. 3x. Few people I'm not hearing from. I want to make sure you guys are still there and I'm hearing from you. Okay. All right, so this is the thing where I look for what's missing, right? So I'm going to check out this first one here, and I notice I have everything that's in the common denominator, so I'm just going to get to write the 5, okay? In the second one, I have the 3. I am missing the x, so I would multiply top and bottom by x. So x times x would be x squared. You all can handle that, Okay. We typically saw it with x plus 2 times x plus 3. So we saw it with binomials. We didn't do a lot of monomial work. Okay. All right. We're going to do about 4 more-ish, and then I'm going to let you guys work on other stuff today. Okay. All right. This is probably one of the worst ones on there that we, or at least most complicated ones. All right. So it's asking us, what are the x coordinates of the points of intersection of the graphs? All right. So there were a lot of different methods we used when we did systems of equations. We did elimination, we did substitution, we did Cramer's rule, but this is a quadratic and a linear. And I am noticing that they're both y equals. So I am going to take this guy and I'm going to substitute it in for y. Okay, so let's substitute that in for y. So we've got 2 minus x equals x squared minus 10. Okay, when I see things that are quadratic and I need to solve them, because I definitely see a quadratic, I know I need to solve them. What do we have to set quadratics equal to solve? You guys tell me that in the chat. What do we set quadratics equal to solve? All right, nice. I'm still waiting. I still have some people that have disappeared on me. I have not seen them in the chat in quite some time. Make sure you're getting it in the chat. There we go. There we go. All right. Okay. So I am going to move the x over and I'm going to move the 2 over. And I'm choosing to go to the right, so I keep my leading coefficient a positive 1, because we like that kind of factoring better than having a negative or any kind of leading coefficient. So on the left side, I'm going to get 0. Keep an x squared because there's no like terms. I'm adding this to the other side, so plus x. And then I'm going to subtract the 2, so minus 12. All right. I want you to finish it. Don't put your answer in the chat. Remember, this one's a solve, so this one isn't factors. So you're going to have to factor to get there, right? We're looking for the actual x values this time, so you need to go all the way to solving. Don't put anything in the chat yet. We'll do that in a minute. I'm going to give you a minute. Try it on your own. Okay, tell me your answer in the chat. What'd you get this time? What does x equal? What does x equal? I want to hear from everybody in the chat. Okay, so just as a quick review for those of us that didn't help me out. So 2 numbers, it looks like we correctly identified that we got 4 and negative 3 here. So we get x plus 4 times x minus 3. And we set them both equal to 0 with the good old 0 product property. We've got x equal to negative 4 and x equal to 3. Okay? All right. Now, I was lazy and did not draw the picture. Okay? But I know you all know how to do the picture. All right? So we have an 8-foot ladder leaning against a wall. So let's do that first. Mrs. Ballard and her drawings, right? So here's my wall. Here's my 8-foot ladder. Oh, excuse me. All right, I'm going to label that 8 feet. Okay. I think there's something missing in here. I think I left off like an angle of depression or an angle of elevation. All right, which is what should be there. So they want us to find if h is the height in feet of the top of the ladder above the ground, then h equals. So this is the h they're looking for. And since I have a typo, I'm going to make up a number, okay? So let's say we know that this angle is like 25 degrees, okay? So do I have, so it's obviously some trig going on there, right? Some right triangle trig, okay? Which trig ratio do I have? Sine, cosine, tangent. It's not going to go into the other three, so it'll be sine, cosine, or tangent. So what do you guys think? Okay, nice. Cosine, good job. Okay, so because I have the adjacent here and the hypotenuse, perfect. So I would say cosine of 25 equals my hypotenuse over my h, not my hypotenuse, my height over my hypotenuse, or my adjacent over my hypotenuse. Okay, what would I have to do now to get h to the other side? Tell me in the chat, what would I have to do to get h to the other side? I'm sorry, 8 to the other side, not h. Get h by itself. How would I have to do to get h by itself? All right, nice work. We're going to multiply. So I'm going to say 8 cosine of 25 equals h. Now, I believe this one, you're not technically supposed to use a calculator. It's possible that that is your answer choice, okay? We could go in, we could use Desmos and find the decimal point. I'm not going to do that today. But if I was going to do that, what do I need to make sure my calculator, what mode should my calculator be in for this type of problem? Should we be in degrees or radians? What do you guys think? Degrees or radians? All right, perfect. We should be in degrees. When you take this test, you have to think of what was, it's like before we started trig. It's everything before we started trig. And it could be anything from algebra 1 all the way up through algebra 2 before we started trig. Okay? So when we started trig, that's when we made that conversion to radians. Okay? All right. So we need some solutions of the equation x squared plus 3x minus 6 equals 0. So what should I, if I'm still trying to solve a quadratic, what should I do? What's the first thing I typically do? Tell me in the chat, what's the first thing I should do? What do you guys think? Okay, GCF. Is there a GCF? You're right. Is there a GCF? Uh-oh, I'm not hearing anything. Is there a greatest common factor there? Yes or no? All right, good job. There it's no, right? Okay. So what's the next thing that I need to try? If I don't have a greatest common factor, what comes next? What comes next? Help me out. I want to hear from everybody. Okay, we want to do a magic X. Nice job. So magic X, I need two numbers that multiply to negative 12 and add to 3. All right, let's see if that works. So let's see, I've got 12 and 1, 6 and 2, 3 and 4. Is there any way to add up to 3? Any way to add up to 3? I want everybody to confirm that for me. Okay, absolutely not. Okay, so if I can't use the magic X, what's next? What do I try next? What do I try next if magic X doesn't work? Oh, we brought this up the other day, didn't we? We are going to do a quadratic formula. Yep. Okay. So remember quadratic formula. You've got a negative b. This is actually, it's x equals negative b plus or minus, right? It's a negative b has a plus or minus chance of going to a really radical party. At the party, the b's were square dancing. They lost 4 ACs at the card table, and the party was all over at 2 a.m. Okay, let's plug in. What's my b value currently? So what's in the b value? Perfect, it's a 3. Good. So we've got 3 plus or minus square root of, and you can go ahead. You're taking the test. I'm not going to be looking at your work, right? So we're going to do, because it's a standardized test kind of thing. So you're going to just do a 9. If you want, you can write the 3 squared too. Minus 4 times 2 times negative 6, right? Because this is the A and that's the C. All over 2 times 2. So negative 3 plus or minus square root of 9. Let's see. 2 times negative 6. Actually, I'm going to do this. Negative 4 times negative 6 is 24. Times 2 would be 48. Over 4. And go to the right. Plus or minus square root of, let's see, 9 plus 8 is 7. So 57 over 4. I want to say that that doesn't probably simplify. Probably doesn't simplify. Okay, last one that we're going to do today. Okay, last one we're going to do today. Okay, we got to solve for x. I'm going to blow that up because it is a little tiny on our screen here. Let's solve for x. So I am going to choose to cross multiply. Do you guys remember cross multiply? We didn't do it a ton, but we're going to cross multiply that thing. So that means that I have 2 times x plus 5 equals 4 times x minus 3. All right. What's instinct kicking in and telling you to do next? So what's instinct kicking in and telling you to do next? What do you guys think? Yeah, we're going to distribute those things, right? So we're going to distribute here, distribute here. 2x plus 10 equals 4x minus 12. Then I'm going to choose to move my 2x to the right. So I'm going to subtract 4x minus 2x is 2x. At the same time, I'm going to add the 12 to the left. So 10 plus 12 would be 22. So x is going to be equal to 11. I would say that take this one seriously because Mrs. Ballard's being really nice and not giving you a final exam, right? This is way easier than a lot of stuff that we have done so far this year, okay? But I need you guys to make a good attempt at getting to the whole test. Remember, when you take this one, if you have absolutely no clue, don't answer it. That's what this type of test is, okay? So Mario, remember at the beginning of the year, we took a test and I gave you a test. It was like a diagnostic test. And then I never went back to the results. So we have to take the same test again. Okay. It's kind of like a map test. You guys remember doing map testing in elementary and middle school? It's kind of our version of that. Okay. So we're going to see where you were at the beginning. It's not getting, so let me talk about grading it again. I'm not putting it against your grade in the grade book. Okay. So, but it's going to account for you in the grade book. So you can only raise your grade by taking it seriously. Okay. So I'm going to assume it's going to take you 2 class periods. So I'm going to give you, as long as you work on it diligently for 2 class periods, that I'm going to watch in Go Guardian, make sure you're working on it. Okay. I will give you 50 points a day. Okay. Which is 100 points total, right? Okay. Then I am going to, if you improve your score, so some of you I sent out the scores, some of you I need to, whatchamacallit, I need to send out the scores. I'll work through it here at the end of the week. Improve your score, I'm going to add another 50 points. So literally, if you got a 17 before and you get one better, which I hope you get way more than one better. We should be improving by like, should I scale it? If you get like 10 better, I'll do like 75 points. Does that sound better? Yes, this can only help you. So if you raise your score, let's do that, because I can change it however I want, right? So let's say if you raise your score by 10 or more, I'll go 75 points. How's that sound? Okay, so this can only improve your grade right now. All right, we're trying to incentivize you improving your grade. Okay, so take it seriously, do a good job. I'm going to assume it's going to take you about 2 days. It's supposed to be about a 70-minute test is what we've been told. Okay, and it should seem a lot easier than it was in the fall. All right, the system is a lot easier to get into than a lot of other systems. Okay, you're going to go either you will take it depending upon when you have AP tests. So you're going to go Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. If you don't have any AP tests, you can work on it all 3 days. Okay, but I'm only still going to do 100 points. Okay, for taking it and completing it. Okay, if you have AP tests and we need to do it at another time because you got AP tests 2 out of the 3 days, just let me know and we'll figure something out. Okay. All right. Technically there is no time limit on the test. It's not a timed test like mine are in class. Please, please, please do not use the apps. Okay. Yes, we're gonna try in those days. If you still need something beyond that, let me know and we can work it out. Okay. Are we good, Mario? Are we good? Okay, perfect. Lots of questions are good. All right. Hey, has everybody who's taking AP exams, have you gotten in